China continues to grow at a rapid pace, but to feed that economic growth, China needs oil, and its quest for oil has sent that country high and low for new reserves, and they're now digging in a place where there may be some controversy over just how welcome they would be. Our commodities reporter Michael Whitney has been following this story from the markets desk. We've heard so much about China's explorations in Africa, desire even in South America, but this time a little closer to home.
That's right. We've documented exactly what they're doing in Africa. They've been looking high and low. You mentioned just how fast they're growing. We saw those GDP numbers last week, 7.9%. What does that mean? That means that their demand for oil is growing at about the same rate, whereas demand growth in the U.S. and Europe is about flat. So they're looking in places. They're looking in Africa. You mentioned that. 81% increase on last year. They're calling on a $16 billion total investment in oil and gas assets in Africa. And you mentioned it as well. Where are they looking? Well, they're looking in the U.S. Gulf. They've been in talks, apparently, to talk to Statoil. This is a state-owned oil company of Norway. They're in talks to buy up some of their leases, so they could be digging right off our shores, Margaret.
The last time we heard them digging this close to the U.S., it didn't go through. That Cnooc deal and the rest, it created a lot of populist outcry. Are we going to see that this time around?
Well, it's really hard to predict what the tea leaves are here. It's a little bit more abstract than that. This isn't trying to buy like a U.S.-owned company like they were in 2005 with Unocal.
Right.
All they're doing is buying a few leases, and it's very common for oil exploration companies to farm out some of the risk when they're doing exploration on these leases. These are deep water leases. There's about 36 that Statoil owns in various basins in the outer continental shelf, so pretty common to do.
It's already with a foreign company, so
exactly.
Should it matter?
I mean, I think there would be calls of racism and other things if they would let the Norwegians do it, but not the Chinese. But as you mentioned before, there certainly was some populist outcry. So we'll have to see what really happens. The bad news really is this tells us just how thirsty China is and how hard it is to find good producing reserves. The analysts now are talking about $100 oil, that you need to get used to it in the long term because it's costing more and more to get good reserves out of the ground.